Hello. This is the Xander Gibb Show. We are in pre-production mode. And we are just getting ready for the live show. The Xander Gibb Show for Tuesday. Oh, yes, sir. So we're just going to share the links and then we're going to get right on with it. We've got some great topics for you tonight, some fabulous guests. We're going live on YouTube, and apparently we're going live on Facebook, which is a good start. That's half. Can't talk tonight. That's half the battle. It sounded like I was British then. What happened there? Just sharing the live feed to the page. Come and join us in there, and we will be getting started very soon. Oh, yes, sir. There we are, getting there. The setup. The problem is you can't do this without actually being live. Shut up, Xander. I'm talking. That is that setup. Just got to go to YouTube and get the URL, which we found out what it meant yesterday. Thank you, Janie. But I've forgotten already what it means, what URL actually stands for. But there you go. I guess you don't have to know what it means to use it, thankfully. Here we go. That is the YouTube link. Just going to share that on Instagram and also on Facebook. Because I know some of you like to watch it on the big TV. It's not posting. We always get these little hassles. We are there. It has posted, and I'm sharing the YouTube link underneath for those of you at home that like to watch on what's it called? YouTube. Yes, Serene. Can't imagine why anyone would see my ugly mug on Oh, the Xander Gibb Show commented on the link that I just shared, apparently. Okay, let's get this shared to Facebook. Apparently, I have to talk while I'm doing this because people come along and they say, all we can see is the top of your head and you breathing. Not sure how that's a bad thing, really. Ugh. And Facebook is doing its usual trick of making me share it to like each individual page, but we will get there because we are bionic and the feed is just filling, so gives us a chance to do that and catch up a little. Hello to everybody that's watching but isn't in the live feed. Come and join us. We don't bite. Well, some of us do, but I certainly don't. But I have had my shots, so that's good. What about you? Have you had your vaccinations? Will you be having the corona virus vaccination when it comes out? That's an interesting topic right now. People are saying hell no, and I agree with them. I'm someone that doesn't even have the flu vaccine because I think who needs it? Well, I'm sure some people need it, but I certainly don't. Hello, Carla. Hope you had a wonderful birthday and you got everything that you wanted for your birthday. I'm sure you're 21 again and had a ball. And so you should. Just sharing now to a few pages before we get started with the live show in just a few minutes, just while the feed fills up, as is doing. Hope you brought some cake for all of us, Carla. Did you get a cake? Was it a chocolate cake? Or was it a Fudgy the Whale cake? Because I used to love those Fudgy the Whale cakes when it was my birthday. I'm sure it wasn't. Maybe you're too big for a Fudgy the Whale cake. Where are we? Yes, I know where we are. We're live for the Xander Gibb show. But I'm going to employ someone. So if you're looking for a job, like a very, very small number of hours, and you can do it remotely, you can contact me because I need someone to share the show, because you guys out there won't do it. Either you don't love me enough or some such. But we can get someone to do it. German chocolate cake. Very nice. Did you eat it all yet? Because I know with me, quite often when I have a, hi to Chet, welcome. When I have a birthday and I get a birthday cake, I tend to leave it wherever the party is. Because when I don't, I bring it home and I eat it all myself. Thank you, Carla. That's very nice of you to share. Because sharing is caring. What, you shared the show or you shared the cake? I'm lost. Because I could really go a nice big wad of cake right now. Oh, I really could. Ain't that true? I don't know if you guys out there are members of a group called Britain Needs Trump. But it's a great little group out there. And it's British Trump supporters. Hello, Maria. Welcome to the show. I hope you are good. Just going to share to a couple more pages before we get started. If you are watching right now and you enjoy this Xander Gibb show, please click that share button so that we can let others know that we are live, and we'll be starting any minute with a plethora. Oh, both. Thank you. Thank you, Chet, for sharing. For a plethora of guests and topics and some real poignant stuff going on. I'm just going to share this last one, and then it will be time to start the show. So we're going to go live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cue those opening titles.
It has been good to me this time around. Things were never bound to change when it was found. Sugar never tasted sweeter on my lips. My heart is now intact, and I can find no rest. This is love, yeah, love. Never known true love before. Seen so many counterfeits that left me on the floor. This is love, yeah, love. All will come to those who wait. Time it cannot know the bounds, and era don't dictate.
Well, hello, you crazy deplorables out there in the world, and welcome to Tuesday's episode of the Xander Gibb Show with me, Xander Gibb on the talk show that really does get you talking. Oh yes, we're live from an undisclosed location, bringing you the best in Patriot broadcasting 5 nights a week. On today's show, I get on my soapbox a little bit and give you the chance more to get on yours and our phone in. On tonight's edition, Mark Sutherland, political commentator, dropped by to break down some of this week's hottest topics. And in part 2, Peter Boykin from Go Right News drops by. You can have your say below in the live feed, and I'll be sharing your comments as we go. You can also call us in our phone in, as I said. You can follow me on social media everywhere, including Twitter. You can follow me there now, again, because I'm on there incognito. They're not going to win. And you can check everything out at xandergibb.com. Just going to come to the live feed and say hello and welcome to everybody that's in there. I've got jaw ache for some reason. Kind of feel like I have to go like that. Hello to everybody. Hello to, I'm just going backwards. Hello to CV Burton. Hello to Gina. Just went past them. Hello, Tara. Welcome to the show. I hope you're good. Hello to my Gina. Hello to, who else is there? Said hello to most people, and hello to everybody that's watching but isn't actually in the live feed. You can feel free to come and join us because we don't bite. Well, I certainly don't. And you might make some new friends, and you might even find something out that you didn't know before. Like, nobody actually worked out the other day what was the food that I was missing most with being on the keto diet and having lost nearly 160 pounds. Nobody worked it out because it wasn't pizza. It really wasn't. We've got time to take a couple of calls before our first guest. If you're in the United States of America, you can call us on 845-363-4747. That's 845-363-4747. And if you're in the UK, you can call us on 0208-133-5274. That's 0208-133-5274. Hello to Swoop. Welcome to the throng, sir. Tara says, yes, I see. I didn't know that. I'm sorry. I see now who you are. Because I was trying to work out who you were. Everyone's just saying, hey, hello. But hello to you too, Nick. So the lines are open. Give us a call, 845-363-4747. That's 845-363-4747. Had some sad news yesterday here in the UK. I don't know if you know, but there are several American air bases. One of them is actually not far from me. So if I ever feel like singing the Star Spangled Banner to somebody that will really appreciate it, I can go down there. But they lost one of our throng yesterday. One of the pilots died in the North Sea in the United Kingdom, and I'm going to find out his name because I want to dedicate a show to him. It was very sad to see that. Chet says, I saw one of the most ridiculous polls out today saying 57% approve of BLM. Who the hell do they poll? Idiots, obviously. I was just wondering, so does anybody know if the Star Spangled Banner is subject to copyright? We have our first caller. If Skype will do its job and behave. You know what? Hello?
Man.
Hello, sir.
You're coming in and out for a second. Sorry.
Yeah, it was quite weird this end too. It was kind of like teetering on kind of connecting and then not connecting. How is the world with you? This is Mr. Chet Martin, for those of you who can't recognize his voice. I'm tired today, Chet, so my brain is kind of on auto. So welcome back.
All right.
What has I saw you just sharing about these Black Lives Matter statistics. I wonder who they are polling, because I think a lot of this about these polls is, if you've got a lot of money to spend and you want to kind of, institute a poll, they're gonna not come back to you with stuff that you don't want to hear, are they? They're not going to come back with the truth. They're going to come back with what you want to hear.
Well, it's the way that they worded the poll that kind of got to me. It was, I don't know who conducted the poll. I don't remember exactly. But the news feed that I saw it on was NPR, first of all. So we know that that's going to be real trustworthy. But
yeah, for sure.
It said 57% of Americans approve of Black Lives Matter. And that's just the most ridiculous thing. Who are they polling? 57% of Americans do not, I guarantee you, approve of some communist ragtag group like BLM. At least nobody I know.
No.
And I've never been polled, Xander, so maybe I'm not an American, but I've never been polled even once. So I'd like to know who they are.
Maybe you're half British like me, mate. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe they're talking to people who don't live in the country and don't know the first thing about Black Lives Matter. But you know what's really weird, actually? Like on my social media, lately I've been getting lots of likes on pictures and stuff from people that are members of Black Lives Matter. So maybe they're kind of targeting conservatives right now. I thought it was a little bit eerie when I saw that today. Because, if someone clicks like on my picture and they're not in my friends list or whatever, I always kind of go and check them out and see who they are and what they're doing and, kind of how they've kind of got to find me. And when I find out that they're Black Lives Matter supporters, I'm like, that's a bit weird. Kind of like when the Westboro Bastard Church used to troll me on Twitter before.
Yeah, well, no, that is a little creepy. That's funny that you said that because I was thinking about this today. You, me, some of the other people that I know that have been shadow banned, some of the other people I know that have just been straight up taken down. I haven't been seeing a lot of that lately.
Right.
Have you thought about? Isn't it weird that we think like that now? It's like, oh my
No.
God, I haven't been banned in like 3 months. Like this is a record here for me.
Right. You know what it is, though, don't you?
Is it a good thing, though? That's what I'm wondering.
It is, because all of their staff are furloughed right now, so the only people that are actually dealing with violations are working from home. So they're ignoring a lot of things. I bet you if I put that same picture on with Adolf Hitler, then they would ignore it right now. And it's kind of the same on Twitter, because I've noticed that celebrities are kind of trying to fight with other people, with the president and stuff like that right now, because they think they're going to get away with it. And that's fine, but what you do is when you pick a fight with President Donald Trump, he's got 80 million kind of army behind him. I mean, can you imagine if it ever came to it and there was a showdown? Can you imagine the length of support, the level of support he would have on his side? I mean, an army of 80 million Americans must be a sight to behold.
Well, it's and that's the other part of this whole what's going on right now with this groundswell of George Soros funded, Clinton Foundation funded anarchists throughout America right now, and I just don't know which way this is going to go. I'm torn between sending the military into where are they riding right now? Over in Seattle. I'm sorry.
Right. Into
the 7-block radius in Seattle, or just leaving it be, because I think what they're trying to do is get Trump to act. We could go in there, Xander, and take them out in 2 minutes. They'd run like babies if we sent in our military and the best of the best.
Right.
I don't even think we'd have to bring guns in there. But the fact of the matter is, if it keeps going in this direction, we have to decide what we're doing.
We do.
I've been kind of struggling with that all week.
I think we got to starve the bastards out, but did you see the list of things that they had demanded the other day? They'd said, like, ice, and it has to be the good kind. It's like, they wanted weed and the best weed. I mean, starve them out. As soon as some of these mofos kind of run out of weed, they're going to be like, man, I got the munchies. I got to go get some Mickey D's.
Yeah, and they also wanted the hipster cigarettes. Did you see that? Only the hipster cigarettes with the Indian on the front. I forgot what
Yeah.
they're called. But but then on the side of it, they put and lighters. So they need the lighters too. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, these people with their demands, it's just amazing to me that it's actually been going on for as long as it has been.
Yeah.
It's like the most bizarre dream to wake up to.
It's kind of like, I actually said this to someone the other day. Hi, Camille. Welcome to the Live Feed. I actually said to someone the other day, do you know what it's like? Did you ever watch the TV show Dark Angel? It was like a post-apocalyptical series. I think it was set in Los Angeles. And it was just like, you know, like America is just like that right now. And it was a scary time to live in. You know, they had drones, you know, that would go around and shoot people, like police drones and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I love America. You know, it's the closest place to my heart. But right now, I'm really glad I'm not there. I mean, it's bad enough here, but I'm really glad that I'm not there right now. And that's not a mean statement.
Yeah, I just, you know, what I would say for that is we knew it wasn't going to be easy. Did we expect it to be this bad? I mean, I don't know.
No.
I think that I don't know if I did or not. I knew it was going to get bad. I know it's going to get worse towards election time, and that is what I'm worried about.
Yes.
Because I'm worried about these street thugs, these basement dwellers coming out and attacking old people, or, you know, they come in a pack when it's just one Trump supporter. Notice they never go into, you know, if there's an area where there's multiple Trump supporters, multiple conservatives, multiple Hells Angels, who I heard who'd be going up there, they don't attack those people. They only attack you if they know they can defeat you.
Yeah.
That's the only time.
CV says it's down to 3 blocks, just 3 blocks now. Hi to Megan, who just joined us in the live feed. You are so welcome, Megan. It kind of, it's dwindling, isn't it? Because, you know, they're going to want their mom to wash their socks any second. Mom, I've run out of clean socks. Can I come home? You know, the thing is, if they got a point to make, then make it without making so much damn mess. Because you know who's going to have to pay for all this crapola? The taxpayers. And why should they have to?
They shouldn't. And, you know, Seattle, listen, there's a lot of, I joke about Seattle all the time. I've never really found it to be a great city.
No.
But, you know, there are good people in Seattle, just like there are good people in New York, and there are good people in California.
Yeah.
And there are good people in Connecticut. There are Trump supporters in all these states and all these cities.
Yeah.
And, you know, sometimes we got to kind of keep that in mind, because I think what a lot of conservatives get lost when they're like, well, you voted them in, you deal with it. You know,
Yeah.
some good people can't move.
Right.
It's just the way that it is.
Yeah, it's like in New York City. I was discussing this with a friend the other day, and you know, she said very much the same thing. Hi to Dave. Welcome to the live feed. I just kind of get really pissed at when people say, "Oh, well, you voted them in, and you'll have to wait till next time to vote them out." How can we wait? You know, I think De Blasio has another year and a half, but that asshole Cuomo has another 3 years in office. I mean, look at the damage that these two individuals alone, these blue state governors and mayors, these two alone, the damage they have done to their state. I mean, when you put New York next to Florida, you know, what Rick has done with Florida, he's done a far better job, and they've got less money coming in than New York City, apparently.
I don't know how any police officer could do the detail for Bill de Blasio. He is just an embarrassment. The man he's uncanny with his communist rhetoric that he continues to spout on day after day, and it's gotten out of hand to the point where he's praising his daughter for going and getting arrested.
Yeah.
And he really was giving her some applause.
Yeah.
And when you look at his daughter, you look at his daughter before she went off to school, and she looked pretty normal. You know, I saw a mug shot of her the other day, and I probably mentioned this with you, but she looks insane.
Deranged.
She looks insane, doesn't she?
Yeah, but I can go on better. Did you see that Ilhan Omar's son / nephew to her husband brother was arrested the other day for Antifa antics.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that they caught him fucking a goat.
Apologies for the language on today's show,
I'm
but
sorry.
no, they would have. Where they live, they probably would have given him a badge, like a button for that, and the keys to the city. You're one of us now, brother, and slapping him on the back. Yeah, but don't you think that the children of
so they arrested him? Good.
Yeah, don't you think the children of politicians should be? Yeah, don't you think the children of politicians should be held to higher standards? Because I do. Because if I was a politician, whether it be a mayor or a senator or a governor, if my kids got out of line like that, I would kick their ass and say, don't do that, because that affects my reputation too. But the thing is about de Blasio and Ilhan Omar, they're actually part of everything that's wrong about America. They're part of everything that's destroying it. So they'll probably will pat them on the back for this kind of behavior.
Well, Ilhan Omar's she's in a lot of trouble for campaign finance, and they're looking into some of the other things that she did that was basically extortion on other politicians in that hellhole where she was elected. But that all happened because of Barack Hussein Obama. He flooded Minneapolis with all these Somali refugees. So now it's I think they call it Little Mogadishu, which is like some terminology for their homeland.
Yeah, that's where she comes from.
Yeah, this is all just corruption, but it started a long time ago. It's unfortunate that it got to this point, but we knew it was coming. And now we have to fight back, and thank God we have Donald Trump, because I just don't see any of the other Republicans standing tall against this stuff.
Me either,
because they should.
Because a lot of Republicans, I would not be a Republican if it weren't for Donald Trump, and I will have to question my affiliation. I won't go and become a Democrat, but I might go back to being a libertarian or something like that, because they don't impress me.
Right.
We gotta leave it there, Chet. But thanks so much for calling in, and have a great night, brother. And we will speak to you again very soon.
All right, just remember, folks, goats' lives matter. They really do. Thanks, Ben.
Thanks so much, Chet. Don't forget, guys, as Chet says, goats' lives matter too. Just got visions of Ilhan Omar suing me for something. I have to sue her back for sleeping with her husband. So my first guest on tonight's show is an international political commentator and a good friend of mine. He is the fabulous Mr. Mark Sutherland, and I caught up with him earlier to chat about some of the goings-on this planet right now. So my next guest is Mark Sutherland, an international political commentator who joins us now from the United Kingdom. Welcome back to the show, Mark. How is the world with you?
Lovely to join you again, Xander, and thank you for inviting me. How is the world with me? Well, I think I'm observing the world like you that seems to have gone completely and utterly raving Marxist.
Yes, for sure. For sure. And I'm sure we're going to talk about some of that madness, and maybe it will kind of reflect on our voting for certain leaders and certain people and certain support that we offer in the future.
Yes, you are absolutely right. You are absolutely right. We are in the biggest cultural war ever of our lifetime.
We sure are.
We really are.
So I'm going to jump right into our first story. Black British chat show host has once again come under fire from racists for a recent interview on Newsnight. Trisha Goddard revealed how she had been affected by being portrayed on the TV show Bo Selected in the 90s by comedian Lee Francis, aka Keith Lemon. Now, the Channel 4 series, which aired between 2002 and 2006 featured Francis 47 portraying a series of celebrities, including Michael Jackson, Craig David, and Trisha Goddard, by wearing blackface masks to impersonate them. It was the big lips, all the things every child has been bullied about. Trisha Goddard reveals she felt sick when she saw Lee Francis after her blackface depiction on Bo Selecta. Trisha said the comedian was absolutely horrified to learn how her daughters, Madison 27 and Billy 30, endured vicious bullying from classmates due to the caricature portrayed on the show. So is blackface or whiteface ever acceptable, thinking of the movie White Chicks, and should we be moving away from these forms of comedy, and are they speaking into racism?
It's really, really interesting because first of all, you're asking me to comment, and I'm white, so I'd just like to say that.
Me too. But you're not apologizing for being white, are you?
No, I'm not apologising for being white at all. I'm just
Good.
clarifying. I'm just clarifying that I'm not apologising for being white at all.
No.
No way. No way. And I don't believe in all this white privilege nonsense. That is a Marxist construct to completely divide and divide and divide. And then if people would listen to, on the other side of the pond, the incredible people like Larry Elder, Jesse Lee Peterson, the young man Coleman, Walter Williams, etc., on all these issues, then the world will be far better. Now, in regard to what you are raising, this subject, it's very interesting that suddenly HBO have pulled Gone with the Wind.
Yeah.
Now, the actress who played the mama in that won the first Oscar by a black person in America.
Sure.
First, and as a woman to win that. Now the thing is, if we start erasing things, we're not learning from history at all.
Right.
Now, in regard to both Selecta and Trisha and the effect on her family, I can appreciate that. Having been bullied for various other things myself, I can appreciate that, and I can appreciate that actually maybe that was extremely upsetting, and that people have learned from that and say we move away from that. But the problem is that it's now produced this whole thing, and we have to apologise for this, we have to apologise for that. I mean, the classic one of that is of course Trudeau, the biggest virtual signaller going, and where he apologised for blackface, but there are other issues with that particular individual that need to be held to account.
Absolutely.
Including when he worked at a particular school with a particular children of a particular age. So that needs to be, and all those allegations, that needs to be looked at. I think the thing is, Xander, it is about having a grown-up discussion about these things.
Agreed.
And some people understandably have been offended. Other people haven't been offended. And can't we sort of, as a society, be really, really grown up about this and just go, okay, maybe that was wrong to do. I mean, Jim Davis, the very famous comedian over here, when he does used to have a routine doing, with Chalky and all this kind of thing. And as he has said publicly, he said, no, I'm not going to do anything like that again. There is no doubt about it. In the past, with a particular comedian that I'm thinking of, would come out with stuff that was so blatantly racist, you just think, no, I'm not going to.
Are you referring to Bernard Manning by any chance?
I am referring. That's it. I am referring to Bernard Manning.
That was he was the epitome of racism. As a comedian myself, I am very choosy about the things that I talk about, but it concerns me that we get to a point as comedians then where we're only allowed to talk about politically correct things, and comedy is not about being politically correct. Not that I condone what Keith Lemon did to Trisha, because I love Trisha. I've been a fan of Trisha, from day one, and she's partly why you're talking to me today as a broadcaster, because of the influence she had on me. But the interesting thing in this for me is I never knew what this guy had done, and I never knew of the racism that she'd experienced because she carried on regardless, and that speaks volumes for me.
I couldn't agree more, and I can honestly say here and say, well, I never really watched the program,
Right.
and partly because of who the individual is doing it. I don't really have much time for the man. No, it raises some really, really, really important issues, and it raises the other issue where I actually think that that things are far, have really moved on within our as a nation.
Right, for
And
sure.
I believe that we are extremely tolerant. And then there's suddenly all this discussion of systematic racism in various institutions and all this kind of thing. And now we have picturing white people going down on one knee apologizing for white privilege. No, thank you. This is classic Marxism.
It is. But
Absolutely classic Marxism, straight out of the textbook. And then when we see Antifa, the left-wing violent mob coming from 1932-33, that is unacceptable.
it is.
Now, we are not, we have to go back to that. We're not excusing at all the appalling incident that happened in Minneapolis.
No.
Protesting is one thing, violent rioting is another.
For sure.
And if people would, but coming back to this, no, I mean, understandably, it's hurtful for certain individuals. But we are seeing, what concerns me is a cancel culture that is really, really going on.
Yes.
And the cancelling of our heritage and where we have come from, and particularly as a country that, abolished slavery, Wilberforce, and then used the British Navy to enforce that.
Right, for sure.
And I'm not excusing any of that.
No.
What I'm saying is that by now going, we want to bring this statue down, that statue down, what are they going to replace it with? We have to learn from our past mistakes. That's
Yes.
the strength of any society. Otherwise,
It's about
we're
balance.
destined to repeat- we're destined to repeat the same mistakes.
We are. It's about balance, but just to go backwards just a little bit, there are extremes on both sides. Locally there was an event. I want to call it a riot, but it wasn't really a riot. It was basically Black Lives Matter have been doing these things all over the country, and it's brought out the skinheads and the Nazis. Does some of this actually create bad feeling?
Well, yes, and you see what is really, really interesting. We've had COVID, COVID-19. We were at the time necessarily go into that. We then had all this lockdown. And now we're damaged various people's health. We've killed people in nursing homes and various other things. Yes, I've said it. And then what we're going to do is now create even more chaos and have to revisit the past and create racism, etc., on the streets and have all these race riots and not necessarily, we're not saying that loads of riots, but have these protests, and some of them sadly have been turning violent. And I'm not excusing any of that on both sides.
Absolutely.
But the movement is BLM. It is Marxist.
It is.
Where the money goes to, it seems to end up as a shell group to turn around and say, we represent this, we represent any black person that's been suppressed by government.
Doesn't even end up there, Mark. It ends up in the DNC, and even Ice Cube, who I don't really like his perspective, and not because he's black, before anybody suggests that, but even he said don't give money to them because it goes to the DNC. I want to change tact because we, as always, we are time bound. Boris Johnson has come under much criticism of late due to his absences and handling of protests, civil disobedience, and wanton vandalism. Now, Downing Street has been warned against sidelining dissent in its handling of the coronavirus crisis after complaints that Boris Johnson has not hosted a key planning meeting for more than a month. There has not been a gathering of the UK government's emergency Cobra committee, including the leaders of the devolved nations and the London mayor. Sadiq Khan. Sorry, I just spat on the floor when I said that. Since May, the 10th of May. The nation has been turned on its head due to something no worse than the flu. The economy is in the water. The public are at risk from violence, and some suggest that Boris is afraid of being called a racist and is not up to the job. What say you, Mark Sutherland?
Well, he needs to come out. He needs to come out and actually say something. We cannot have a situation where, you know, we have the Churchill statue boarded up. We then have the cenotaph boarded up because there was a young man that thought it was perfectly acceptable to go and start burning the flags on the cenotaph. And just for your listeners abroad, is the fact that the cenotaph is a very famous monument to people that died in the First World War.
Right.
And Churchill, of course, not a perfect person. There is discussions, of course, of eugenics and all the rest. It's there historically, but at the time when we really needed him, he fought the biggest eugenicist, which was Hitler.
Right.
And that has to be put in context. Everybody, look at how he treated Jesse Owens at the Berlin Olympics.
Yeah.
Let alone 5 or 6 million Jews. So what we're supposed to do? Take that? No. So we have to be strong enough as a nation to weigh these up. Now,
right.
What are they? This is called classic Marxism. I come back to that. It's called revisionist history. We get rid of history and then we start from day one. Here's the important thing. The left in this country have gone through every single institution and won at the moment, as Peter Hitchens, the dear Peter Hitchens in the Daily Mail article has talked about. They have won. One of the key departments that Margaret Thatcher, bless her, could not take her coach and horses through was the education department.
Right.
We look at what's happening in our schools, we look at what's happening in our colleges and what's happening in our universities and how history is actually taught. Now, Khan has been very silent and then suddenly can come out over this issue and others. And Boris does have to say something, and Priti Patel, to her credit, in the House of Commons has been really attacked by the other side, from the left, from the Labour Party. Some of the comments that are being said are outrageous. Now, Priti Patel family has an Asian background and family come from Uganda as Ugandan refugees.
Right.
And now she's the Home Secretary.
For sure.
So, again, we're still waiting for the grooming gang report to come out. Let's just say that. And I'll just finally say this. You used the term, and this is anyone then who is right of centre is then called far right.
Yeah.
And of course, for the left, who was so left of centre and communist and Marxist. So hold on a minute. You're called far right because you want to defend your culture. You're proud of your heritage. You don't want people taking statues down. You're strong enough as a person to turn around and go, yeah, we acknowledge the past. We acknowledge that. We don't have to apologise for that anymore, and we move on because we have the strength to do that, to be able to have a wonderful, wonderful, brilliant debate. But Boris needs to take the lead instead of overseeing, Zoom meetings in regard to Gavi, vaccines, in regard to, all that issue, which is huge.
That's another worry.
That's another worry, and he needs to. This country right now needs to be opened up immediately so we can get on with things. But he needs to take the lead. I am concerned. I don't know whether he is still ill or whether, yes, he's paranoid about being called a racist.
I think he is.
He's written a historical book on Churchill. He just needs to come out and actually take the lead.
It's a shame, but I do think maybe, I wonder if Bojo has lost his mojo, and that would be a shame because I had very high hopes for Boris. But I'm prepared to wait a little. 1 second. I'm prepared to wait a little while and let him disprove my concerns. But I also want to say, I just want to go backwards a little bit. When you say far right, I think what they mean by far right is right so far. And Priti Patel, if I could have stood up and applauded her the other day when she was talking, and she's talking to a black member of parliament who basically said that Priti Patel obviously didn't know anything about it and had never experienced it. And excuse my French, but her response was, "You're talking to the Speaker of not the Speaker of the House. That's American. What's her role? Home Secretary, who was called a Paki, which is a racist term for a person of Pakistani descent in the playground. So even people of color that don't happen to be black, they're having their perspective sidelined by these Marxists.
Yeah, absolutely, because they're turning around and saying, well, you're not following this narrative, so that must mean that you don't understand racism at all. And because you believe in property rights, but because you believe in individualism and you don't believe in progressive collectivism, then there must be a problem with you.
Yeah.
No, there isn't a problem with us, because the individual right, in America to pursue, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness is something that we need to also defend over here.
Right, we absolutely
do.
We
are seeing this massive push for the collective, the sheeple. If you go against that,
you're a racist, you're a homophobe, you're nasty, you're this. I'm a homophobe, Mark. Can you believe that? I'm an openly gay conservative, and if I disagree, I'm homophobic. So where the hell does that come from?
I really don't know. It's a bit like the classic interview with David Webb, who is a wonderful black presenter in America, very famous radio presenter.
Right.
And there he is going on a show, on someone's show, or had a guest on there, turning around and saying, he was a guest, turning around and saying, well, as you're white, because he was coming out with conservative views.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And challenging the narrative.
For sure.
And these people do not want the narrative challenge. That's why I named certain individuals like Walter William and Larry Elder and Jesse D. Peterson, etc. Because this is really, and others.
Mark, sorry to interrupt you, we gotta kind of bring it to a close now. I want to ask you one final question. I need a very succinct answer. Are you still back in Boris, and do you think he's going to pull us out of this? And remember, the key word is succinct.
I am backing him. In many ways, what else is there? But I have backed him for a long, long time.
Right.
And I'm glad that we are, and the whole getting out of Europe, that's it. So
absolutely. We have to leave it there, Mark. Tell people where they can find you. Mark will be back with us very soon, I'm sure. Tell people where they can find you, your website.
That's very kind. It's marksutherland.org. Plus, you can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Twitter under the Sutherland Report. So thank you very much, Xander, indeed.
Always a pleasure. Thank you so much. The fabulous Mark Sutherland. He will be back with us very soon. Xander, it's back to you in the studio. That was the fabulous Mark Sutherland. Be sure to check him out at marksutherland.org. That's marksutherland.org. All of his information is on the Xander Gibb show page for this week. It's always great to have Mark on the show, a very succinct commentator. So my next guest is the host of Go Right News and the founder of Gays for Trump. He's going to be calling us any minute now from the United States of America. Oh, yes, sirree. Yeah, I don't know if happy birthday is copyrighted, but even if it is, I'm going to sing a very quick happy birthday to Carla. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Carla. Happy birthday to you and many more. There you go. I probably got kicked off YouTube for that. But happy birthday to you, Carla. And I hope you have had a wonderful day. Carla says, okay, correction. I've heard it called that. But official title is The Emancipation of the Freedmen's Memorial. I think that's the statue they were talking about. Who is what? Nick, what are you asking? What are you asking us? I'm just waiting for our guest to call in. He should be calling us any minute now. As I said, he is Peter Boykin from Go Right News and the founder of Gays for Trump. Let's just make sure he is calling. Hopefully he will call us any second now, but in the interim, I'm going to come back to the live feed and share some of your comments. You are very welcome. Oh, the guest name. The guest name that's coming up is Peter Boykin, and he is the host of Go Right News, and he is also one of the founder members of Gays for Trump. Chet says, you know where there is huge racism, South Africa, and these racists aren't white. Peter's going to call us any second now. I actually saw a black pastor video of a black pastor the other day on TikTok. The black pastor even used the N-word. He said these N-words had a whole continent. And what did they do with it? Absolutely nothing. They never built nothing. They never did nothing, which kind of surprised me coming from a black person. But there you go. For some reason, the comments are loading. Let's make that happen. Hello to my friend Lisa. I hope you're good. I need to talk to you soon, Lisa. I need some help. I want to get myself a little dog. So, I will need to speak to you soon. About that, yes, because I am looking for a hypoallergenic dog. Okay, Nick, no worries about that. Very huge racism issue in Africa. In fact, this black pastor was saying it wasn't something that he saw was an issue in the United States, and a few isolated incidents does not a pandemic of racism make. And I kind of tend to agree with that. It's like the assertion that the police are institutionally racist. I don't think it is the case. And you know, I have to say, I really do care about things being right, and I think we should all be looking to stamp out racism. But when you want to paint a whole organization as one thing because of the actions of a few, it's kind of concerning. Does that mean all Democrats are corrupt? All right, bad example. Chet says, yeah, the Democrats would refer to that pastor as an Uncle Tom. CV says poodles are hyperallergenic. I think a poodle might be too big for me unless it was like one of those small ones. I was out this afternoon by the ocean, and I saw this guy with, he had two kind of toy poodles, and he was out there with his wife or his girlfriend, and they were like perfectly coiffed with, you know, big fluffy tails and stuff like that. And gay? No, I don't think the dogs were gay, Chet. But I wouldn't have a poodle. That probably would be too gay. And I won't be carrying it around in a bag either. You know, you see a lot of these guys carrying around their poodles in a bag. Oh, miniatures poodles are 7 to 15 pounds. That's not bad. I want a small dog, one that I'll be able to fit in my wheelchair with me, just on my lap. You know, like, hello, Mr. Bond. Well, I'm hoping our guest is going to call in because it's actually getting a little ridiculous now. So let's hope he's going to call in very soon. So what other suggestions do you have for dogs. Here we go. This should be Peter Boykin from Go Right News, calling us from the United States of America. Welcome back to the show, Peter. How is the world with you?
It's going. It's going.
Good.
It's going to hell.
Yeah, certainly. In a handbasket in the USA, it kind of seems right now. Don't know what happened there. I'm just checking just back into the live feed. So I want to jump right into it because we're time bound for the news and stuff. So SCOTUS recently ruled that employers who fire workers for being gay or transgender are breaking the country's civil rights law. In a 6-3 decision, the Supreme Court said federal law which prohibits discrimination based on sex should be understood to include sexual orientation and gender identity. Now, the ruling is a major win for LGBT workers and their allies, and it comes even though the court has become more conservative. Lawyers for employers had argued that the authors of the 1964 Civil Rights Act had not intended to apply all cases involving sexual orientation and identity. The Trump administration, getting some feedback there, Peter. The Trump administration sided with that argument, but Judge Neil Gorsuch, who was nominated to the court by President Trump, said acting against an employee on those grounds necessarily takes sex into account. An employer who fires an individual for being homosexual or transgender fires that person for traits or actions that would not have questioned in any members of a different sex, he wrote. Members of the LGBT community across the U.S. were celebrating on hearing this news. Some Christian organizations have expressed concerns at the judgment. So as an openly gay man and a supporter of President Trump and one of the people who kind of founded the movement Gays for Trump, what's your initial response to this?
Well, I'm actually happy that we do have that setting for sexual orientation. I think that is a long thing running, and it's something that a lot of people already assume in the law, that sexual orientation was supposed to be protected. This affirms it. But I do actually understand the worry about the gender part of it, because that goes back to the whole bathroom issue. You know, these people have figured out multiple genders. You know what I'm saying? They claim different genders like they're flavors of ice cream. And so
Right.
How does a company now try to figure out how to accommodate and best approve everybody's rights?
Right.
Because, if in this case, it would be somebody could say, well, I'm bi-gender. Like today I'll show up as Bill and tomorrow I'll show up as Jill.
Right.
So I get to use whatever bathroom I want to whenever I feel like it, depending on what gender I feel like that day.
Yeah.
And you can't discriminate against that. Now, I feel like a transgender person should have some sort of safe bathroom, that they can use. But at the same time, a female might feel intimidating going into a restroom with a man in a dress, even if that man feels like it's a female.
Right.
Same thing goes with businesses who offer like gyms. Gym where I've had a lady before that told me that her 8-year-old daughter didn't know anything about it. They didn't have a problem with transgender females, but when they walk into a gym and there's a 40-year-old disrobed man taking
Right.
a shower, they
Yeah.
don't know if that's a female or not. So there's
Of course.
the issue.
But I think the issue there, Peter, is there was a famous incident with Roseanne Barr when she said she disagreed with it, and they called her transphobic. But I totally agreed with her, because her issue with that was that not that she was transphobic, but it was around having penis around young girls, whoever it was attached to. And I kind of have to agree with that, because you don't want your 9, 10-year-old daughter seeing a naked man, whatever they purport to be. I mean, I consider myself to be a unicorn on Facebook, but there's no bathroom for me as a unicorn. Do you know what I mean? Where do we draw the line?
Yeah.
I want to
It's
ask.
hard to draw a line now. This
Sure.
is going to open up a much can of worms when you add the gender, and it's not being transphobic.
No.
I support transsexuals. Gays for Trump supports transsexuals. We're not against it. People have tried to say multiple times that I'm Peter Boykin and I am the enemy of transsexuals. I'm the horrible thing for transsexuals. I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Wow.
I was like, way before I started all this, I tried to help a transsexual where I worked, way before the bathroom issue.
Right.
And they worked there, and they did not have a place to use the bathroom safely, and I found them. They had a unisex bathroom, and I was like, you'll be able to safely use this bathroom without bothering anybody. And they did. It wasn't, a week later, they got terminated, probably because so many people complained about where this person could use the bathroom. And that is discrimination. But at the same time, if you're going to be one or the other, you got to be one or the other. You got to play the role the whole time.
Right.
And you got to also look out for other people.
Right.
I kind of feel like maybe now with it kind of worked hand in hand with COVID and everything. I guarantee you'll see more business places change their bathrooms to like single-use bathrooms. They'll probably get rid of group bathrooms and go to single-use bathrooms so everybody gets privacy.
Let me ask you
They don't
about.
have to worry about it.
Sorry to interrupt you. Let me ask you about the church perspective, because like when this happened here, when they changed the laws in the United Kingdom, like the Church of England said it should be allowed to discriminate because of its policies and ideologies did not work hand in hand with employing people that were gay, which kind of made me laugh. The Catholic Church saying that they've had more pedophile priests than I don't know what. Should religious organizations be exempt from that? And how different is that from a baker saying, I can't bake you a cake, from someone saying, our organization is a Christian organization, we can't employ you because you're gay?
See, that opens up another thing. Like, when it comes to a religious organization, if this is discrimination based on sex or gender, then it doesn't. Religion also is included in the orientation as well.
Right.
Like you're covered by your religion, but at the same time, if they might disagree with transsexuals or gays, but I don't know. It's like they do have the right to their religious freedom, and if that's a religious organization and they don't exactly accept homosexuals,
Right.
then they're not really discriminating purely on the fact of homosexuals or transsexuals.
No.
They're discriminating on the fact that they're religious, and it gives their religious rights. So you've got
Right.
two rights kind of counteracting. So if it's because of religious rights, you're religious, then that would make sense.
Okay.
But at the same time, it's like, are you all in or half in? So
Right.
are they like, we're okay with we have homosexuals that work with us, but we're just not going to accommodate for the transgender bathroom? It's kind of,
Right.
it's kind of like you got to be all in or no in. It doesn't really relate
Right.
with the cake issue, because the cake is we're serving people. I don't think any church should be able to reject people from coming to church, even if they're homosexual or transgender.
No, I don't think
If it's
church.
a work environment,
Yeah.
maybe a little different.
I don't think churches do. Well, I mean, some do, I'm sure, but mostly they don't, because I don't think that the church kind of should be turning anybody away, because some people who are religious consider homosexuality to be a sin. I personally don't. But the Bible teaches to love the sinner and hate the sin. And I've written extensively on this, and as far as I'm concerned, if there is any sin in being homosexual, it's sex. So it's no different for a straight person, having
it's no
sex
different than
outside of
adultery. It would be part of adultery.
Yeah.
It'd be no different than heterosexuals masturbating, heterosexuals having sex out of wedlock, and heterosexuals having sex for fun. Everything lustful that a heterosexual does. If a
Right.
homosexual does it, if it's going to be a sin or a heterosexual, it's also a sin for a homosexual.
Yeah.
It's all equal sin, but it ain't sending me to hell. I mean, honestly, I've gone to the point where it's like, when you die, if there is a heaven or afterlife, we're not feel like the Bible was written to try to continue people having kids back then.
Right.
You know, and I feel like we are God's creation. Homosexuals are part of the plan because we do offer a culture and different things that heterosexuals do. They pay their role, they play their role, and we play our role in the grand design. And so people can tell me that I can do all these great things my whole life and help people, but I'm going to go to hell because I'm a homosexual. That just absolutely is ridiculous. It just makes no sense.
Well, the Bible that would
I'm
be
a Christian. I follow teachings of Jesus.
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't teach against homosexuality, but people quote from Leviticus and stuff. And Leviticus is nothing but Sharia law. That people look at it. It's 79 or plus rules that are horrible rules.
Right.
They're talking about killing people, beheading people. It's all Islamic Sharia, old Jewish law, and you're going to cherry pick. And I love how they tell me I cherry pick, but they cherry pick anti-homosexuality stuff in it, but yet ignore all the eating pork and the tattoos and the.
I've even had people.
If they don't believe in the same religion.
For sure, I've even had people telling me as a conservative that I shouldn't be openly gay because it's bad for the movement. I mean, you know, if it's bad for the movement, then I'm gone. Do you know what I mean? You know, you would never, you know, talk about
being gay or straight is not part of being conservative.
Talk about gays for Trump, though.
Conservatism doesn't have to do with all family values.
No. Talk about gays for Trump, though. I mean, could you have imagine an organization like Gays for Bernie or Gays for Biden? Do you know what I mean? It's just never going to happen, is it?
Yeah, I mean, our Gays for Trump, you know, we're a support group for people who support Trump.
Right, absolutely.
And people kind of get it wrong because they think that, Gays for Trump is a Republican group. I'm like, well, we are mainly conservative and Republican and right-leaning.
Right.
But we don't reject anybody who supports Donald Trump. So if you're a Democrat or a Libertarian or even a left-leaning, you know, that supports Donald Trump, then you're invited.
Right.
You're invited to join ours, just like my Go Right movement. Yes, it's right-leaning, but we also invite people of all parties. I believe in multiple-party systems.
Right.
I believe that I actually also believe that Gays for Trump is not an identity politics group, even though they try to say it is. That's what ticks me off the most is they embrace the Latinos for Trump. They embrace the blacks for Trump. They embrace all these other groups. But the minute I say gays for Trump, people go, well, I don't think gays are part of these movements. We don't like your identity politics. And we don't like you throwing your sexuality and your faith in our faith. And I'm like, I don't get it, folks. You're telling me that I just because I'm gay, I can't support Trump and that we don't exist. This is people who have the right to say it.
Right.
And you don't want to you want to call us identity politics. I'm like, no, we're not identity politics. The reason why we call ourselves gays for Trump is to let other gay people know that we're a support group. But we don't base everything in our decision on Trump just because we're gay.
No.
You know, we would like Trump to like us, but we also endorse everything else that he does.
Well, don't you remember him?
We're not gonna, you know, we have to fight our own leftist games that we have to fight.
Don't you remember him standing on the podium with the rainbow flag? I mean, no president has ever done that before. You know, that spoke volumes to me. And you know, the suggestion that President Trump is anti-gay makes me laugh, because if he had been, the first thing he would have done when he became president was canceled same-sex marriage. He would have tried to dismantle that, but he didn't. He said, you know, that's set in law. I want to ask you a very quick final question.
It's a done deal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I want to ask you a final question, and it kind of pertains to the difference between gays on the left and gays on the right, because gays on the left want equity and gays on the right kind of want equality. Does the fact that there is this constant kind of reach for equity on the left concern you?
Yeah, I mean, the gays on the left they seem to want special rights. They seem to complain about rights that they don't even have or extra rights they should have.
Right.
They are not happy with what we do have, and then they make up lies that they're the only people that got us those rights when they ignore log cabins and conservative gays and things who have fought just as hard pretty
Yeah.
much saying if you don't vote for the Democratic Party, you're not gay. I mean, there's
Yeah.
people every day going, "You're not gay." I'm like, well, what do you want me to do to prove it? I mean, honestly, I don't understand
Yeah.
what you want.
You
I'm
gotta-
still gay.
you
I-
gotta
I
show them
don't
your
vote-
porn
I don't
collection,
vote on the
Peter.
plantation.
You got to show them your porn collection. I mean, and I would show them my fag badge, but they took mine away a long time ago. But I'm absolutely cool with that. We got to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us. I think you were the perfect person to discuss this new change with. I hope you'll come back and join us again very soon. Thank you so much for your time. Peter Boykin from Go Right News. All of his contact information is on the Xander Gibb show page for this week. Thank you so much, Peter. Have a great night, brother.
You too. God bless.
Thanks a lot. Take care. Bye-bye. That was Peter Boykin from Go Right News. Go check him out. His information is on, as I said, the Xander Gibb show page for this week. We are at the end of the show. Don't ever apologize for typos, Nick. There won't be marks lost for that. Who must be pretty hot? Who's Gina flirting with now, and should I be jealous? Thank you so much for everyone who's made today's show possible. Thank you to the inimitable Mark Sutherland, international political compensator. I don't know where that came from. You can find him at the Sutherland Report, and you can find Peter Boykin at gorightnews.com. Make sure you follow them all on the Xander Gibb Show on Facebook. Thank you to everybody in the live feed. Thanks to Chet for calling in. Please click that share button before you go. I see everyone who shares, and anyone who doesn't share will not be getting a free Xander Gibb Show 2021 calendar. There you go. Have a great night, everybody. Thanks to everybody in the live chat. You do make the show possible, and I really do love you all. I do. Bye-bye.
It has been good to me this time around. Things were the bound to change when it was found. Sugar never tasted sweeter on my lips. My heart is now intact, and I can find no ribs. This is love, yeah, love. Never known true love before. Seen so many counterfeits that left me on the floor. This is love, yeah, love. All will come to those who wait. Time it cannot know the bounds, and era don't dictate.
Click the bell button and subscribe to keep up with the Xander Gibb Show. Oh yes, sirree.